Hey, I'm Sarah Jenkins, a 28-year-old who loves reading and occasionally goes on reading vacations. Family dynamics often lead to challenging situations, and I seek advice to navigate them better. My brother, aged 32, became an orphan 10 years ago, due to an accident our parents were in. My parents had always been a bit paranoid, so they had set a plan in case of their passing. They left a significant amount of money for each of us, and our childhood home was meant to be mine. They specified that we would have access to our share of the will when we turned 18. Since my brother was already old enough, he took his money and cut all contact with me. I had lived with my grandparents ever since, but last year, I finally got my share. I decided to move into the house and use the money to pay for my studies. I'm in my first year of medicine, and it's very expensive. I've estimated that when I finish medicine in 5 years, I will have money left to continue with what I want to specialize in and still have some left. My grandparents knew my plan and offered to help me with my living expenses, so my inheritance became exclusive to my studies until I finished. Of course, I accepted, and we have been like this for a year now. To the issue, my brother and his wife have 3 small children. My brother spent his inheritance money on a house, his wedding, cars, and expensive stuff that one doesn't need to live. My sister-in-law is a stay-at-home mom, so he was the breadwinner. My brother recently lost his job, so now their family is struggling, and they need a place to stay. So he contacted me and asked for us to meet up. When I arrived, he and his wife were already seated in the restaurant. Long story short, they said that since they were going through hard times, they expected me to hand over my house and give them my share of the inheritance to get back on their feet. Naturally, I got angry since we had barely talked or visited each other since the accident. They were just demanding I pay them. I told them that I wouldn't because I already had a plan for the money, and I was living in the house they said I could move back with my grandparents, and blew off me for being selfish. After arguing, I decided to leave. But now my cousins are saying I'm an inconsiderate idiot and should help the family out. I need to know if I'm in the wrong. So, am I the idiot? I'm questioning my decision because there are children involved, his kids, and I don't want to hurt them. Hey, have the last 10 years been great anyway? How about you give me half of our dead parents' money since I already spent mine? Not the idiot. He squandered his money. He will squander yours too, and then you'll both be broke. Be responsible with your money. At least one of you should be financially solvent, not the idiot girl. You shouldn't even be here. He cut contact with you and now expects your help. No way. I am begging you not to hand over a cent. He sounds like the type to be given a step and then suddenly take a mile. You owe him nothing. His family is not your responsibility in the slightest. Do not allow him to guilt you biologically. You're related, but they're not family. And your brother made that decision a long time ago. People love burning bridges, not realizing they'll regret it. Not the idiot. He spent his inheritance and wants the house and more money. Ridiculous. Plain and simple. Keep saying no. If he has to come live in the house and pay rent for a while, maybe. But sign the house over? The man is delusional and manipulative. I am shocked at the cheek of his suggestion. Kids are currently back in school, so both parents can get jobs to make ends meet. It may not be up to their expected standards of living, but I doubt they'll starve. So, your plan for your money is completely valid, and you have every right not to share. Update. Am I the idiot for not using my inheritance money to help my brother and his family out? A lot has happened since I posted my story, so I'll be updating it here. I first told my grandparents everything that happened, and they are supporting me. I told the cousins who were sending me messages to help my brother themselves, and they got angrier, so I blocked them. I then invited my brother and his wife to eat and offered to rent 3 rooms in my house. They asked if it was free, and I said no, but it would not be expensive. However, they kept insisting on me handing over my property, so I decided to leave. I had a conversation with my brother, and it turns out you were right. He doesn't want a relationship with me. To be honest, I'm completely heartbroken and angry because I thought things would change after that conversation. I decided I would be the one cutting contact, and my grandparents did too. I don't know if things are finished now, but I sure hope so. Thanks to everyone for the judgment and advice. You know what? This may be a blessing in disguise, since he has left no question about his nature, and made it very easy to see that he has nothing good to add to your life. Luckily, he had revealed his intentions so clearly and quickly, before you lost or suffered even more. You can now move on knowing that you made the right decision, as painful as it may be. I am so sorry to hear that your brother was just using you to access the house and your money. Going with no contact is the best way to go here. I think that moving into your house would have been disastrous for you. My first thought was that you came home from school one day and found all of your belongings in the front yard with the locks changed. Stay strong, and good luck with your medical degree. What were his justifications for demanding your house without paying? How could he possibly believe he's entitled to your house or your inheritance? How has he managed to convince your cousins that you are responsible for him? If I were you, I would cut any contact with him and his family. If you have the money, I would consult a lawyer. However, inheritances can be complex, and it may be wise to safeguard yourself just in case. Regarding the issue with the family heirloom, you are an idiot. You come across as extremely entitled. His family sees you for what you are, and they don't want you to get your hands on this family heirloom. When your daughter comes of age, this may be something they reconsider, but it's not your place to push this. They're right. You are the idiot. It's perfectly understandable for them to believe that someone they've known for 5 years won't take care of a family heirloom that is over 200 years old. That you make light of something so precious, both monetarily and sentimentally, makes me think they're right not to let you have it. You are the idiot. Your daughter is not a blood relative, and therefore should not get the necklace. The family is right to be wary, especially given that you think cooking, cleaning, and looking after your kid somehow entitles you to an allowance and pampering. Those are things you'd have to do anyway, seeing as you had your daughter before you met your husband. An heirloom is supposed to follow that family's descendants, not branch off outside the lineage. You are already benefiting greatly from their wealth. Stop clawing for heirlooms you aren't entitled to. If none of your husband's generation has a biological daughter, then it should be held in trust for whichever male grandkid has a daughter. You are exactly right. Prenups are needed. You owe your relatives an apology. If they had any brains among them, they would be rewriting wills and trusts, barring you from them, even if it means passing assets through your husband and directly to his bio kids. Enjoying the story so far? Show your support by liking and subscribing to our channel. Now, let's dive back into the story. I, a 28-year-old female, love reading. About 3 times a year, I go on reading vacations. I usually pick a city I've never been to and spend a week just reading in different coffee shops. I started doing this during my university breaks, and it just stuck. Every 2 years, I go on a big trip to another city, although I always sightsee on these trips. Last year, my trip to Paris had to be canceled, and I've rescheduled it for next year. My sister, 26, who lives with my parents, heard me talking to my mom about the trip over the phone and called me later. She laid into me about how I wouldn't let her move in with me, but I could afford to go on all these expensive vacations. About 6 months ago, my sister wanted to move in with me because she had gotten pregnant and couldn't afford rent and a baby. I told her no, because I didn't have the room to house her, and I didn't want to have a newborn in my house. I work from home, and just knowing my sister, I would be doing some childcare. However, I'm child-free and have no desire to look after someone else's baby. She's now crying to my parents about how I should give her money, at least because I can afford it. They think I'm an idiot for not helping her out at all, and so does most of the family. Am I the idiot for going on reading vacations instead of helping my sister out? I'm probably not supposed to be laughing here, but I don't get your sister's logic. How do you not letting her move in with you because she can't afford life have anything to do with you affording to go on any vacation you choose? You don't have a kid or a life you can't afford. You can afford to do what you want, and what you want is to not have your sister and her newborn live with you so you can go on vacations whenever you want. This seems reasonable. You are not an idiot. Not the idiot. You didn't get pregnant. She did. You didn't choose to keep the baby. She did. It is not your responsibility to fund her life. Where's the father of the baby and the rest of your family? I like how they're quick to volunteer your money for your sister, not their own, but do not give in on this. This is a hill to die on. Go low contact for a while. Let them all work it out with each other, and enjoy your reading vacations in your child-free life. My ex-wife and I have been divorced for 2 years. We have 1 child together. She tries to be friendly, but I think it's inappropriate, so I keep her at bay. I got sick 3 months ago. I was awfully, and I called her. She stayed with me for 3 weeks, made my food, cleaned for me, administered my medications, and rubbed my back while getting sick. She was amazingly attentive. I feel guilty for calling her, but she's always been there, and I can always count on her. Another friend brought me soup, but my ex has always been very nurturing. As I started feeling better, I started talking to my friends more, and I didn't want her around as much. So I started ignoring her when she came in. I could tell it hurt her, but I knew she still cared about me, and I didn't want her interfering in my other relationships, thinking anything had changed. Recently, she asked me for additional help with the baby. I told her I didn't have the time or the money to help, because I was making up for lost time while being sick. My sister told me I was an idiot, and I should at least make time because she put her whole life on hold to take care of me when she didn't have to. She said I was unappreciative, and that people looked their whole lives for people like her, and I was treating her like garbage. She said I only treat her like this because I still have feelings, and I want to appease my friends and girlfriends. My sister called her and is helping her with the baby now, and she's turned my family against me. I missed a lot of work, and I'm making it up. Am I the idiot for not making time? Edit. We divorced because she wasn't who I envisioned myself with. I feel that love should be more passionate and spark, and where we had chemistry, she was of the old school belief that love is work and taking care of each other. I couldn't bring her around my friends either. She just didn't fit in. We've been amicable, and she's not said anything about being upset. My sick leave hurt me fiscally, so I've been working extra to make up. You are the idiot. You're prioritizing friends and girlfriends over your kid. Your kid, man. What the heck is wrong with you? Also, you were plenty happy to take advantage of your ex when you needed her, but didn't even have the nerve to tell her not to keep coming when you started feeling better. Just ignored her. I feel sorry for her, and most of all, for your child. You are the idiot. You're a father. Did you think that title came with the freedom to keep acting like you're child-free? Like, yeah, all my friends with kids would love to go clubbing every week again, but they don't because they have kids to take care of. Being a parent is hard work. It's no walk in the park, and you don't get days off. That's not how parenthood works. You're on call 24/7 unless you don't want a kid, in which case, give up your rights. Still, you'd have to pay child support. But at least you wouldn't have to devote your precious time to your child anymore, since apparently, that's more important to you. For context, my sister is 12 years older than I am. When I was 12, my sister met her husband. He was a widower with a 2-year-old boy. My sister jumped right into mom duties once they were living together, and she adores my stepnephew. But he has always called her by name and refers to her as a stepmom. So, my sister and her husband call her his mom. She calls him her son, and she told me and our siblings he's just our nephew, not our stepnephew. My brother-in-law was concerned when by age 8 he told people he didn't have a mom anymore and put him into therapy. He blamed it on his former in-laws talking about my nephew's mom and sharing photos of her when they had access. He asked them to cut it out and to encourage him to accept my sister as his mom. It led to conflict, and he stopped access to them. My stepnephew was not the disrespectful, angry kid you read about in some posts. He did things more politely. He never embraced us as his family. He calls us his half-siblings family and calls my sister their mom more than he will say, mom. For the most part, he still uses stepmom. They tried to talk him around, and everyone told him it would change, and he would see that my sister is the only mom he's ever known. Except now he's 20, and he's created some distance from them, because his dad fights him on how he refers to her as a stepmom, and his siblings as half-siblings instead of mom and siblings. We were all present when he told him his mom was the woman who died when he was 3 days old, the woman who would have loved to be there raising him, and she wasn't important because, without her, she would not be there. So, for them to act like saving the role of mom for her is wrong, makes him feel like they don't respect that she's the reason he's there. He told us all that he felt like my sister was jealous of his mom, and how he has always, and would always love his mom more than her. He was never more glad that he was 6 years old by the time she could legally adopt him, because he could say no, and have it heard by the judge. Anyway, my sister has always corrected anyone who says step in the context of her stepson. We went along because society tells you that the step doesn't matter at that young age, and she is his mom. But I don't feel comfortable doing that anymore, given how clear he has been. So, when my sister corrected me last Saturday, I told her I would follow his lead on how to refer to him in the future, and not hers. She is mad at me for that and told me I'll regret it when he realizes the truth. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. We were forced to call our stepmom mom by our dad and stepmom. They had custody of us, but my mom is alive. It's horrible, and I would go as far as to say a form of child abuse. I left that house when I was 16 and cut contact. We speak a little bit now, and I call her by her first name. You are doing the right thing, respecting his wishes. He'll probably grow to dislike everyone who doesn't eventually, if he doesn't already. It makes me angry at how often I see this kind of thing. If step-parents take 2 steps back and allow relationships to flourish softly, rather than trying to force it and causing future relationships to wither, it's pathetic to force yourself onto a child who doesn't want you. Just be there for them. Then one day, they will embrace you. It's not guaranteed, but at least it would be more natural and have less resentment everywhere. Opt's the measure of this and is good for you. I mean, technically the kid is right, but he can't appreciate his dead mother without putting your sister down. Your sister is his mom, the only one he has ever known in his life. Now, I'm not going to be harsh on the kid because he's still young. The former wife's family might be putting thoughts in his brain. Still, your sister is right. She's the one who raised him from a very young age. She is his mother and deserves to be respected as one. Everyone's an idiot here, but be there for your sister. She is facing some pretty harsh and undeserved rejection right now. Let's finally once again briefly conclude our story. In the end, family dynamics can be complex and fraught with emotions. Each individual's perspective, experiences, and feelings play a significant role in shaping their actions and decisions. Despite the conflicts and misunderstandings, it's essential to strive for understanding and empathy. Sometimes, it takes stepping back and reassessing our attitudes and behaviors to find common ground and mend relationships. As for our protagonists, they have learned valuable lessons about communication, respect, and the importance of honoring each other's feelings and wishes. While the journey may have been challenging, it has ultimately led to growth and greater understanding within the family. With newfound clarity and determination, they move forward, ready to navigate whatever challenges may come their way, armed with the strength of their bonds and the wisdom gained from their experiences. Thanks for watching. How did you find the story? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more awesome stories like this. Your feedback and support mean a lot.